expert. Someone. All of you. Okay, I don't agree with any of you. Here's what an expert is. You see, an expert. Hello? Ever notice how just what Melissa just experienced? Her husband was willing to listen to people he didn't know. It's the truth.
It is.
Right or right? Am I right or right? Just checking. Kevin, am I right or right? Well, so far, he said. How many people know I'm going to give him a beating all night? Okay, right? Did Trey warn you? No. Right. So the deal is, you see, it's perception, and your perception is your reality until proven otherwise. Right or right? Your perception is your reality. So you all think you're right until somebody says, "Whoa," and straightens you out. You're going to get straightened out tonight. But that's just. And that's one of the consistent that if you have a loved one, we need to speak to them with and for you. Does that make sense? Okay? And baseball player getting an opportunity here. Show up every once in a while. Hey, Big Zach, how are you, buddy? Okay. So that's just fun stuff. So it went well then after that. Good. So now keep them pumped up. It's pretty exciting. That's your job now. And the reason being that we want to do it with and for you is because of exactly that's a pretty good cult, right? See? Boom. Does your church follow cultures, wouldn't you say? Amen. Sport teams are cultures. I don't care what it is. It's a culture. Culture. What culture are you following? What belief patterns do you have? What do you see? So we got to expand our vocabulary in here. How many people agree with that? Okay. So are you learning something? Are you learning something, Kevin? What's that? Okay, good. Okay. If not, I'll have to give him a free beating. Are we ready? Yeah. All right, doctor, are you ready, doctor? You're like a surgeon over here. You haven't said a word. I'm just and I'm fine.
We're live too.
Oh, you didn't, Ryan? You're supposed to tell me that out there in TV land. I had no idea we were live. Ryan had another tape, by the way. This is being broadcast for all of your information throughout the country, and there's people I understand that are on that tonight from like states of Maryland and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Tennessee, perhaps.
6 on already.
There's 6 on now, and there's more to join it, and as many as 35 at a time. Besides, when we get a packed house in here too. Not having the high-tech cameraman that we have, we're going to do the best we can right now. About what you're about to listen to. I want you to put your phones on silence, if you will, please, because that would be a big distraction. And if you have a notepad and a pen, if you need one, we'll give you one, because you're going to learn more than you've ever gotten in your educational system so far today. And we're here to disturb you. You will get disturbed. Why? Because we tell the truth. And the truth is that most of you don't have a clue about the very thing that you need to know the most about. And that is, Kevin, make some money. Because you need money for all these years of education, and they never taught you what you need to know. Now, we're here to tell the truth. See, now, anybody ever hear that phrase, the truth hurts? Raise your hand if you heard that. Fair enough? Good. And I'm coming at all of you. Okay, everybody's a victim in here, Stephen. How do you feel about that? Hello? The first message is, Stephen, pay attention because I call on you all the time. I'm going to ask you questions, so you got to know, right, Nick? See, if you're sleeping, I catch you like our buddy who joined last week. He goes, I'm not sleeping. Okay, it's a slow blink. Okay, so what was that? The truth. What was the phrase I was looking for, Ashley? Truth hurts. Now, did you ever think about what that means, Kevin? What does that mean to you? Well, maybe it was again in the past. It's like, hey, the real truth about spirituality. That's everybody's got their own belief pattern. So your cult is going to convince people of otherwise. It's the way you think. So here's the truth. The truth is, Stephen, I was in my office and I had to tell 5% of the United States population right now is being. Boom! That's big. That's 1/3 of the United States being chased by a debt collector. What are you going to do? What's your plan? So we're about to shake you up because we're going to tell the ugly truth about things. We're going to shake people up because what you didn't know, you should have known. Okay? Fundamental, bookkeeping, leasing a space, what do you negotiate? All the things you need to do to be in business, they don't teach you at all. Everything we're telling you is not only verifiable, it's in the textbooks. See, it's in the books, they just don't teach it. And I always laugh because the professors, if they knew it, they'd be doing it. Don't you love that? I'm not knocking educators, okay, because I think there's a need all the time, and I promote education. By the way, got a couple of degrees myself, so totally promote it. However, it just kills me that most people that are teaching things don't really, if they knew it, they'd be doing it. Hello. So money is profound. Do you need money, Kevin? You do. Stephen, you need money? Okay, here's the first rule. There's only one kind of money. You know what it is? Zach? Okay, then you don't have any of it. Okay. There's only one kind of money? What is it, Nick? Not enough. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I had some compassionate lady, church-going lady. She was like the church lady from Saturday Night Live going, that's not true. I go, let me tell you why I'm going to give you a free beating. Are you ready? And incidentally, when we have an open relationship here, it's a communication skill. Fair enough? So we're going to be very open about it. See, I just absolutely disregarded what you said. And I said, no, excuse me, miss, here's what I just heard you say. You're making enough money for your life. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you involved in the community? Yes. Okay, do you see that the world's a mess? Yes. Do you know that God made the world abundant in all things? She said, I agree with that. Great. Well, then hunger shouldn't be, should it? Homelessness shouldn't be, should it? God made everything abundant, including money, okay, and our ability. However, if you had more money, would that enable you to enable others or at least take care of other people? Yes. Like I said, there's only one kind of money. Not enough. I didn't ask you to be selfish. I wasn't talking about you. Boom! How many people know that was a boom? Boom. Steve, we knocked her out. Was that good or good? It was good. Okay, good. Because we're coming after you later, okay? So here's the deal. So you're going to get introduced to the company, about what it's about. I'm going to come back up later, but you're going to learn all the significant rules and have a lot of fun. Hold your questions till later. The first person is going to give you an introduction. He joined the business, I don't know, it was 6 months ago or something. I got a license. And right now I'm pretty excited about him because he's getting promoted. He got his promotion. And we have a system where this is a business. You're here for one of two reasons: to learn about what we do and also look at this as a possible business opportunity. Especially, and you're going to have a mind shift today, a paradigm shift when I'm finished with all the people already in the business. Why? Because I have something new to show you tonight, and your income just went up through the roof. Okay, if somebody, we can pay people up to $50,000, over $50,000 a year, part-time. Alex, you're working full-time and ain't making that kind of money. Am I right or right? Okay, boom. Okay, part-time, that'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? All right, think about it, and think about what you could be doing if you're full-time. So we have an opportunity. Is it for everybody? I think so. That's totally a decision you have to make, because everybody needs money, and it's the application of it, learning what to do with it. Does that make sense? So without any further ado, I'll introduce him, because he's making almost, if he stays on pace, he's making a common check a week. Anybody know what a common check is? It's a check with a comma in it. Okay, most of you don't get them. Hello, am I talking to everybody here? How many of you would like to get a common check? Okay, part-time, he's getting a common check because he's a communist. He works for the state right now. He's a biologist, full-time biologist, and it's Ryan Young. So Ryan, come up and tell him what it's all about and who's going to do this. Okay, Paul, you're going to sit there and direct that camera? Okay, sure. Great. That'll be a big help.
All right, thank you. My name is Ryan. I joined the business about 6 months ago. A lot of you guys know me already. So today, I think you guys can already guess what we're going to talk about a little bit. Can you guess, Stephen? Yeah, I know you can guess. Can you guess, Stephen, number 2?
Business.
What's something, here's a question for you. What's something you use every single day? You wake up and you don't even leave the house without it. Just name something. A phone, okay. Tower, what's one thing? Phone? Keys? Nobody's saying money. Nobody's saying money. I don't leave the house without my wallet ever because I need it and I use it every single day. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Money. We're going to talk about money because we're talking about you need the first place.
Money.
Hello. Okay, thank you. Oh, that's okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. And what we like to do is we like to start from the very beginning. A lot of times, hold on one second for me here. Okay. There it is. Okay. So you're saving for your future, right? And you don't know what to do necessarily all the time. You go to a broker and you say, tell me what to do. And they write down a whole bunch of stuff on a piece of paper. They scribble a lot of figures down. They try to confuse you almost, and you leave confused, and then you hand over all your money to him for him to play with it, and you still don't know what's going on. So here at Empower, what we do is we break it down to its most basic level, because our job here is to educate you. We want to increase understanding on what it is we're talking about. We want you to know about how money works, because this is something that you guys should have learned in elementary school, and they didn't teach you at all. I started learning in elementary school with Jelly Bean, who came into my second grade classroom and tried to teach second graders the Rule of 72, and we got it. The father of modern physics, that's him. He invented this rule. A lot of things that he E equals MC squared. So he also figured out a very simple equation to figure out how money doubles. And what he said is that this is the most powerful equation that was ever introduced to mankind. And he also used to call it the 8th wonder of the world, which is pretty powerful, I think, because, to everything we do today. But so is money, just as important, if not more so. So what we're going to talk about now is the Rule of 72. How does money double? Compounding effect of money. And how this works is that you take 72 and you divide it by whatever interest rate you're getting, and then you get the doubling time of your money. So where do people keep money mostly today, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
The banks, right? So the banks, do you know what you're getting on a savings account in the bank? Here's a little hint. Very, very little. It's about 0.2 to 0.5%. So hardly anything. And if you were to try to do the rule of 72 with 0.2 to 0.5%, it would take 144 years for you to double your money. So that's just kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Yep.
It's pretty ridiculous. So we're going to instead, we're going to say, this is the example we're going to use. 23-year-old. A lot of us in here are very young. And, 23, is anybody 23 in here? 23? Okay, perfect. So that works just great. We're going to say you got $5,000 to start off with, just in an account. And rather than deal with what the banks are actually giving right now, we're going to give you 2%. Maybe you get that in a long-term CD, something like that. But those aren't even paying that well right now. So 72 divided by 2, if we follow the rule of 72, that would mean your money's going to double every 36 years. Everybody follow? Okay. Everybody follow out there?
They can't really see the screen at all.
No? Okay. I'll talk you through it. So 23, one-time investment of $5,000, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to double that money out and see what we get when we're of old age, when we retire. So we're 59 years old, and we have $10,000. Money doubled once. Then we're 95, and we have $20,000. That's 36 years, then 36 years, we're at $20,000. Are you excited about that, Nick?
No.
No. Why not?
That's not a really good return for 36 years.
And by that point, when you're 95, you're probably going to be able to buy a stick of gum or maybe a loaf of bread with that, right? Inflation happens too, and that's the average inflation rate is 3% anyway. So here you're losing money every year, no matter what. So this is just a quick example. If you're 23 now, you have $5,000 put away, earning 2% per year. You're going to have $20,000 by the time you're 95. Woohoo! Pretty exciting, right? Get excited. So we're going to change things. This is my bank, right? I'm the Bank of Ryan right now, and you guys all came and you gave me your money, and I gave you something free. I gave you maybe an iPod mini, and you're really excited about it. That's why you gave me everything you got. So because I'm so generous, I'm giving you the iPod mini, and I'm going to give you 6% in your account instead. Is everybody okay with that? You okay with that, Kevin? Mm-hmm. This is you. This is you up here, Kevin. Was I took the interest rate and I increased it by 4 points into a third of what it was. Just $120,000. 5,000. You're 23. Well, I'm going to make you guys a deal right now because I'm the bank. I make the rules, and I already don't be greedy on me. I am going to give you guys the 72 and the 50. You said? You said you can't change that now. That's not going to work here. You said I'm going to give you, so I'm going to give you 50 and 70. I'm going to give you guys that. You already have your iPods, and you're getting greedy on me already, so I'm going right now. So you can't increase that number anymore. We're at 5,023. We went 12 years. We're at $10,000. 12 more years down the road, we're at 47 years old. We're at $20,000. So look here, 95 here, 47 there. A little bit better, right? I'd rather have 20,000 at 47 than 95 personally. I'm probably pushing up daisies by then anyway, but. 12 more years, $40,000. 71 years old, 12 more years, 80,000. 12 more years, 95. We have 320,000. So, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you both your money, and I'm still going to go out and buy a bakery and bake all the bread I want. And you guys can have your one loaf of bread because I'm keeping all the change, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to do something a little different. This is going to be real life now. So this is reality. 8%, just so you know, we're going to talk about 8% and what do you do to get that. But 8% is under what the market has gotten over the last 30 years. We've been 9.5% is the average of the market return in the last 30 years, and before that it was 12.5%. So 8% is still pretty conservative. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make you the same exact deal. So Kevin, you're 23 now, you got $5,000. All I did was increase it by 2 points this time, so less, and I decreased the doubling time by 3 years. What are you going to have at 95? 420,000. So you went from 50,000 to 420,000. Is that what you just did? Yeah. I'm taking back my iPod Mini, and I'm going to keep you that number though. Stephen, 2? 2 million. 2 million. I'll tell you what. I'm going to make you guys a deal. I'm going to keep the change because I'm the bank and I gave you your iPod. So here we go. You ready? 32, $10,000. Go another 9 years, 41. We're at 20 now. 41 versus 95. We're getting a little different here. And 47 on the other one, so we're making some progress. 50, we're at 40,000. 59, 80,000. 68, 160. 77, 320. 86, thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And 95, we're at 1.2 million, so you guessed a little high because you just went nuts. You thought you could take it all for yourself. You know what? I'm going to talk to Kevin from now on. So, but look at this. Look at this. Maybe a week's worth of 12. 95 over here, 1.28 difference. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we always have the question, most people, like you said, Kevin, you're putting your money in the bank, right? So most people are doing exactly that. And remember, the banks aren't paying 2%. They're paying 0.2 to 0.5%. This is a very generous figure right here. So people are putting their money in the banks, and they're over here taking your money and making $1.2 It feels pretty horrible, right? That hurts me every time I see this. That's why this meant so much to me, and I learned it a lot of years ago, luckily, and I've been applying it to my own life ever since. And we swear knowledge is power. That's totally false because knowledge isn't power unless it's applied. So that's what we're trying to do tonight. So this is what we're all doing. This is what most people are doing here, getting this $20,000. The banks are over here making $1.28 million. You ever go to a big city and look up? What are all the big buildings in big cities? They're banks, every single one, right? Now you know why. So we asked the question, what would you rather, A or B? It's kind of rhetorical, but answer it anyway. A or B?
B.
Okay, thank you. Because that's where the money is, and that's what they're doing. What we call this is legalized extortion. When we say extortion, we mean theft. It's legal because you walk into the bank and give them your money on purpose. iPod minis are cool, but they're not that cool. I don't want to pay $1.28 million for an iPod mini, do you?
No.
I sure don't. So we're going to go and talk about where to go and get 8% later tonight. But when we use the Rule 72, we're talking about the growth of money, right? And everybody has, if you've been paying attention in the markets lately, you've been seeing, 2008, I don't know if anybody remembers, we're all pretty young in here, so it didn't impact us very much, but it impacted our parents a lot. So a year of loss, we're calculating 8% per year every single year. Is that going to happen? Probably not. It's very unlikely that will happen. So what is the impact of a loss? How do we look at that? We're putting our money away and trying to make it grow for ourselves and our future, but when a year of loss happens, what is the result of that? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Rule 72 and we're going to use 7.2% as our interest rate, which gives us a doubling rate of every 10 years, just to make it easy math. Does everybody follow? Yeah? Okay, well, it nods. All right, so in year 0, we start with $1,000, just to keep it simple. And then we go all the way down to year 10, and we have $2,000, right? Because 7.2 into 72 is 10 years. Year 0 is 1,000, and by year 10 you'll have $2,000. So this just plays it out as on how it will double, how it grows every single year for those 10 years. So let's say you have 1 year of a 5% loss. That's it, 1 single year, which is pretty ridiculous. This is an example, and so I'm going to break out this information in it, and I recommend it to everyone. I've scanned through it and looked at a lot of these graphs and charts that they have in here over and over again. And okay, so here we go. We're talking about 1 year of loss at 5%, right? That doesn't sound very good, but we want. So we're going to go through an example just to show you how ridiculous 5%, 1 year of 5% loss actually is. So this is 2000 to 2012, the actual rates that happen in the S&P 500, which is in there. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But the market did what in the first 3 years? Can you read those for me?
Lost 10.14%, 13.04%, and then 23.37%.
Okay. So 3 years of double-digit losses right in a row. So I'm only using 5% up here as an example. So just keep that in your brain that we just had 3 big years of loss. So the year after that, it came back a little bit at 26%. Then it did 8.99, then it did 3, then it did 13%. All right, pretty good. We did 3% the year after that, and then what happened in 2008, Nick?
Lost 38.49%.
38.49%. Everybody hear that? Okay, so if you think about what just happened, everybody who has their retirement savings in the market just lost almost 40% of their life savings in a day. In a day, that's when this happened. Huge, huge loss, annihilated everybody. After that, we got a 23% gain, 12% gain, 0%, which is just as good as a loss because inflation's at 3% anyway. So you're losing 3% on those years. Then we did 13% again in 2012. So I just wanted to read that as an example because we're just using 5% here in 1 year just to see what a loss actually looks like. And when you go and you ask, you go to a stockbroker and you say, okay, he'll say 1 year loss, 5%, no big deal, right? You'll get that back. It'll come back. So what we're going to do here is play out the same Rule 72, and in year 2, we have a 5% loss. So see, it was 1149 here, and it's 10818 there. So let's play it out and see what actually happens. In year 10, you got 2,000 here, you're at 1,776. That 5% loss in reality is 11.4% loss when you compound it out over the 10 years. And it could have been in any year because it compounds out the same. And just for an example, we go to year 20, you got 4,050. That's still an 11.4% loss. So when you see that 5%, thinking, okay, 5%, yeah, I can make that back. No, you should be saying, wow, look at what just happened. I lost 11.4%. You lose your purchasing power. You don't have that money anymore. It's gone. Warren Buffett, does anybody know Warren Buffett? Okay, he's one of the wealthiest guys in the country. And his first rule of money is don't lose any money. His second rule of money is see rule number 1. That's not a joke. I didn't come out of my mouth. He said that. You know why he said that? Exactly because of that. You think you're only losing 5%, but you're losing a whole heck of a lot more than that. Imagine what happened in that 38% year. You think that was just 38% loss? You're dead wrong if you do, because it definitely wasn't. Compound that out, and that is significant loss. Never money back, no matter what the market does after that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at Garrett here at the bottom of the screen. He's the grumpy cat of finance because he didn't just lose 5%, he lost 11.4%. We always tease Garrett and say that's him because we say it kind of looks like him when he gets grumpy. Thank you, Garrett, for dealing with that. Okay, so now we're going to get to real life. We're going to do an example of a real life retirement plan. What does that loss do to you, and what other things are we worried about? What do we have to be thinking about when we go and do a retirement plan? We're talking to somebody who's supposed to be managing our money, and they're supposed to be the experts, right? Somebody you don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to invest from age 35 to 65, that's 30 years. We're going to put $500 away per month at a 10% rate of return. Now this is just for mathematical easiness because 10% is easy to calculate, 500 per month. But what do you think you're going to have at the end of those 30 years if this is the case? 500 per month, 10% return per year. Steven? That's not a very good answer. Melissa?
80,000.
80,000? Okay. Mark? What are you going to have? At the end of 30 years, 500 per month, 10% return.
About 750,000.
750,000. All right, let's see what we got. At the end of 30 years, what do you think the total is? The total, in actuality, the pretty blue number that they print out on the piece of paper for you is 1.788. It's almost $1.8 million. So we're a little short, I guess. A little bit. Just a little bit. That's a lot of money. And when they slide you that piece of paper across the table, they say, oh, look at this. Look at what you're going to have. You are going to have $1.8 million. Don't you feel great? You're going to be A-okay. You're going to be able to survive forever comfortably and get your vacation home in Florida. We already live here, so it doesn't apply. But for you guys, it does. So let's deal with reality now. What are we dealing with here that makes that blue number completely a smokescreen? We're dealing with market loss. We just talked about it, right? We did 5% in 1 year. So here, for this example, we're going to give 2 years of loss within those 30 years. 5% in 1 year and 10% in another. Now, can we agree, Zach, that that's pretty ridiculous, being that what we just read in that book showed 5 years of loss, I'm including that 0% because that's a loss. But 5 years of loss, 4 of which were double digits. We're not talking about 1 year of 5 and 1 year of 10 over 30 years. We're talking about a 12-year period here. So this is pretty conservative, wouldn't you say? Kevin, wouldn't you say it's pretty conservative? Okay. So the other thing we're dealing with is commissions and fees. When you give this guy, Broker Joe, your money, he's charging you an average of 3% fees on your money. So every year, every time he moves your money, he's taking 3% per year on average, whether you win or lose every single time. Now let's think about that guy. When you give Broker Joe your money, who's got all the risk? Steven, who's got all the risk? We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what we're going to do. Steven number 3, who's got all the risk? Right. Right. You give somebody your money, they're charging you 3% per year, and whether you win or lose, that's what you're going to pay them, and you have all the risk and they don't have any. Does that sound like a smart system? Doesn't, right? Doesn't. What's her name in the back, sir? Joe. Joe.
Broker Joe.
All right, Broker Joe, this is you. All right. So 3% is the average. What we're going to do is we're going to cut that down to 1.5 because we want to be real conservative here. So we're lowering that down. We got 2 years of loss in 30, which is ridiculous. We got 1.5%, which is half as much as what the average is when you go to Broker Joe. And then the other thing we got to deal with is tax loss. Because when you open up a retirement account, who are you in partnership with? The same uncle, and he wants his share first. So Steven number 2, Steven number 4, Three. No, that's Stephen number 3. You're number 4. Stephen number 4. Who's more important? Your Uncle Sam or your family?
Family.
So it's not very fair that they take the first cut of your money, right? They think that they're more important than your family and yourself. I don't like that at all. And 25% in reality is a very conservative estimate also, which we'll go over a little bit later. So after the impact of 2 years of market loss, 1.5% fee, and 25% taxes, what's going to be the remaining balance? Kevin, just take a guess. So we started with $1.8 million. You got all this coming out. Just take a guess. You don't think too hard. All right, well, let's do $50,000. Zach, what are you going to have? $250,000. Wow, you guys have a bleak outlook.
600.
Yes, $588,634 is what you're going to have left, which means, all right, you think now, okay, I still have $588,000. That's great, right? Wouldn't you like to have $588,000, Alex? Yeah, right, you would. But what you don't even know is that you just gave and paid others $1.2 million. How do you feel about that? Pretty awful, right? I hope you do. If you don't, then you are absolutely crazy, and we need to find you help, which Kevin can give because he's studying psychology right now. Right? Is that right? Okay. So see Kevin if you're not disturbed by that after the meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right there and show you what is going on through a video that we have here, and what's happening to people because. And actually, before I do that, let me talk about a little bit of what our philosophy is based on what we just saw. So let me go back to this. We always go to a football coach. Does anybody watch football in here? A lot of people watch football in here. I don't pay very close attention, but I do know the football coach, Bear Bryant. He's the coach at Alabama. Anybody know him? So what he said all the time, which we always agree with, because we're a lot of us in here are rugby players. See you later. And we always abided by the principle that offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. That's what Bear Bryant said, right? And he was right. He was one of the winningest coaches ever, and we were one of the winningest rugby teams ever because of that principle. We had a solid defense, didn't we, Bill? Sure did. We did. So how do we apply that to another situation, which is our own finance and our own future? We want to have first a defensive strategy. Excuse my handwriting because it's terrible. So defensive strategy. What do we want to defend against? We just talked about all the things that we actually should be thinking about that most people aren't. So we want to defend, number 1, against market loss. Because these 2 years is not even realistic. What we're looking at here is a very conservative estimate of what you have. That's generous. If you go to reality and look at what we just looked at in this book, that number is far less than 588,000. And I hope that concerns you because it really concerned me. So number 2, that 1.5% that we conservatively said is actually 3. We're defending against high commissions and fees. Because Broker Joe back there, he wants that money every single year, and he doesn't really even care if you win or lose because he's got no risk involved. As long as he can get that money across the table, he's okay with that. A lot of times, I'm not gonna. It's just the facts. So number 3, we want to defend against taxes because if you save $1 million in an account, how do you feel about paying $250,000 to the government before you can even touch any of it? That feels pretty awful, doesn't it? I'm sorry I'm upsetting you all so much, but this is what we do. So this is our defensive strategy. We want to make sure this happens because we want to win the championship at the end. Like right there, 588,000 and likely less. But we also want to have an offensive strategy because we want to make the money work for us so that we can survive off it in the future. So what does that mean? Got an offensive strategy. Number one, the reason we want to save and put our money away is so that we can make it grow for us, for our future. Because an article, I think CNN Money came out with, it said that our generation, for us young people in here, we got one geezer, but the rest of us are pretty young. He's right there. Sorry. We are going to have to save $7 million in order to maintain the quality of life that we have today. That's pretty upsetting, right? So how the heck are we going to save $7 million? It seems impossible right now. So what we need to do is ensure and make sure that we have growth. We need our money to grow and work for us, because if it doesn't, we're never going to have even close to that much. All right? Good. We want it to grow so that we can provide ourselves with an income when we get old, and we want to live off of that. So it's number two, we want to make sure that we can get an income off of that money. Number three, we don't want to subject ourselves to a lot of risk, because we can see already the results of what happens. So we want to make sure we have some safety and make sure that we follow Warren Buffett's law or rules. 1 and 2, don't lose any money, and then don't lose any money. Safe. Number 4, we want 401k or IRA account. Zach, do you see it? Okay. What I mean is, you should be able to have access whenever you want it, no questions asked. All right, it's your money, isn't it? When you have a qualified account, when you go to take your money out, number one, you got to pay taxes on it. Number, you have to pay it in that money. Because it's a qualified account, the government makes the rules. Uncle Sam is your boss, and we're all working 2 jobs. We're not. I work for the government twice, which is pretty awful. Most people work somewhere, and then they work for the government too. We won't for any reason whatsoever. And I know a lot of us are young in here. We're going to be looking at buying houses at some point. Some of us might already have them. But when you go to take money out of a qualified account, they're going to knock you down with the penalties and the taxes. We don't want any of that. We want liquidity with our money when we need it for what we want. Number 5, we're looking for tax efficiency. Should have abbreviated that. What I mean by tax efficiency is actually tax-free, because that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about tax-free money, because that 25% is a big number, and right now it's actually a very small number, and we'll go over that in a little bit. So, offensive strategies, defensive strategies, 8%, how, where, why do we go to do that? We're going to introduce that in a little bit, but first, I'm going to show you what's happening to people that aren't applying these strategies and that don't know what's happening to their money. They're giving their money to Broker Joe, who, I don't know you yet, but you're not a very nice guy.
No, I still make that.
Right? Whether they win or lose every year, it's bad, and people don't even think about this kind of thing. Most people don't know. They're just giving their money because they think they should, and they have good intentions, but they don't know. And this is a very good example of what's happening to those people. I will do that to you right now. Is this on you? Yeah.
When I was younger, I never thought about retirement. Never entered my mind. Even to this very day, I'm still shocked that I'm in the position that I'm in.
I really never had any savings, and I was contributing to the 401k at my job. And when I got fired, I had to take some of that money just to live.
I seriously began saving when I was in my 60s. I'm sorry I didn't start a lot earlier. And nothing ever works out the way you planned it.
When I got into my early 50s, all of a sudden, I started realizing I'm never going to be able to retire. And I want to retire because, first of all, as I said, I did not have a career. I had a job.
People that
I can't save for retirement right now with what I'm earning.
Over the last 10 years, I've had to really reinvent myself. So I applied for a university in the city. I was accepted, and now I'm living off of student loans. I'm probably going to be in debt for well over close to $200,000. And I honestly don't think I'll ever be able to repay that.
I have quite a few friends the same age as me that are trying to either reinvent themselves, trying to find a job. It's very hard over 50 to find a full-time job. And we joke around that to make ends meet when we get older, because it's tough.
I sold some furniture. I had a friend pay me to pay their apartment. You know, I'm doing whatever I can do.
All right, so everybody get that? That is what America looks like right now. That's what America looks like. If we don't do something about it as young people, that's what we're going to look like not too long from now. And it's getting worse. So if you think that, no, that couldn't be me, you are dead wrong, because it's everybody right now. This is what's going on. So if we don't prepare right now and start saving for ourselves, we can't use the Rule of 72. You all just learned the Rule of 72. We got to now apply it for ourselves, because if we don't be significantly less, and we're going to end up painting our friends' houses and going back to school and get pretty sad. I feel very bad, but I feel good now about myself because I'm doing something about it, and I'm helping other people to understand that they also need to do something about it, and then showing them how to do it. So to go further into that, I'm going to bring up Steve Young. What you're helping me with. So thank you.
Hey, for those that are in TV land, so you want to make sure that's going, Garrett, I apologize. I was supposed to have you up before Ryan, so we inverted things. So people in TV land that are just tuning in first, I'll cover that in the back end, but I want to just pick up and go with the momentum that Ryan had shared, and I'll cover the company in a minute. So first of all, how many people got a little disturbed that are new here about the Rule of 72, the fact that you never knew it, Kevin? That bug you a little bit? Zach, shouldn't they be, you work at Suncoast, am I correct? Correct. Don't you think Suncoast executives that are sitting behind a desk ought to be teaching people the Rule of 72? No. Why not?
not in the best interest.
Not in the best interest of who? Amen. See, let me straighten out what Zach just said. It's not in the best interest of Suncoast. It's certainly in the best interest of the public. Now, how many of you have ever gotten or used a credit card? Please raise your hands again. All of you. Now, Broker Joe. Joe, are you a broker?
I know.
Okay. What do you?
I play one on TV.
You play?
I work in appliance.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And what do you do for LaPlaya, if you don't mind?
Front desk.
Awesome. So you deal with the your public service.
Exactly.
I got it all the time, which is great. So, where was I going with that? I lost my thought. Broker Joe. Come on, bring me back.
Credit cards.
Oh, yes, credit cards. Thank you. How many of you? Thank you. I asked that question. Who brought me back to that? See, that was a test. Very good. I don't have Alzheimer's, but Zach does. Here we go. Okay. All right, what's even? The average rate of a credit card is? Is not an answer.
14.
See, if there's anywhere, I'm teasing, I don't know what you're paying. It ranges percent. Now, on the board that Ryan showed you before, we called it legalized extortion. How many of you think that's ridiculous? See, he only showed 8%. Man, Nick, what would it blow you away if we showed you 33%? Because I love it. Some of you are cynics. You in TV land, you're all cynics. Oh, that's not, I can't believe that. Well, you're doing it. If you're paying them 33, 20, 12, 15, 17, you're already paying them. Hello? Are we right or right?
Right.
See, the only one you can get mad at today is when you go home in the mirror, that image that you're looking at, get mad at that. Not the fact you're learning something about money. Money doesn't care who owns it. It only cares what you do with it. How many people agree with that statement? So you might as well learn what you're doing with it. Make money work for you. How many of you got to work for money? Ah, isn't that good? See, how many of you enjoy being enslaved? You're in slavery abolished. Hello? I'm talking to you. Okay, Derek, did you think slavery was abolished?
No, didn't think so.
Well, he's lying to me right now. Okay, he's going for the right answer. See, boy, I almost tripped up here. See, the truth is, how many of you are slaves to your job or the income you don't have? How many of you have debt? You're enslaved, man. You're in the bondage. How many of you thought that was a term that, you know, was bad? Bondage. Okay, it is for debt. In fact, if you ever read the good book, it's called the Bible. Anybody ever heard of that thing? Okay, it's the most read book in the world. Hello. #1 seller in the world. Everybody know that? You know what that means there, Kevin? Bible? Yeah, you know what that means? The acronym, Bible. Aren't you supposed to be a pastor of some sort, a teacher? What's that? Okay, we'll let you go. You can have guests outside. Here it is, okay? Here it is, okay? Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Try it. It's a good read. It's got very good rules in it. In fact, it's hard to argue with. It's all common sense, too. And incidentally, that's what's so good about this. Melissa, you know how strong it is to know that when you leave these sessions that you can safely say that it's nothing, Stephen, besides common sense and the truth? We started out by telling you can't argue with the truth. The truth hurts, fix it. If the truth hurts, it's because you're screwing up. Am I right or right? You see, and we're here to straighten people out because the economy stinks. It's not getting any better. I just gave you national statistics. I can't speak. Statistics before when we started earlier when we messed up, and we told you that 35% of the United States population is being hounded right now by credit debtors. Yet you're calling them up, hounding them. How many people know that stress is bad for you? Financial stress really sucks. How many of you feel like that? In fact, how many of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired about making decisions based upon the money you don't have? Boom! You're raising children. Am I correct?
Right.
Doesn't it stink that you can't really do what you want to do for those kids, and then you just you get it, don't you?
Yeah.
And I bet your husband gets it now too.
Yes.
See, money doesn't care who owns it. And Nick, get this straight. I'm in the United States of America. I love my country. Like what's going on with the government. How many of you are just so excited about Washington right now? Raise your hand. Good. There's nobody brave enough. There's not, but TV land, there isn't a person in this room that waved their hand. Okay, that's right. Okay, mind-boggling. So I'm here to show you some alternatives, not me in power, and what we learn about money. We're going to convert it. We're going to let money work for you from now on. How many think that makes sense? Hey, so I'd rather have money work for me, Steve. Steve, you're the only one. You can go home and have lunch now because you don't want to have money working for you. You sit there going, quit picking on me. No? Okay, so the deal is, Alex, we're going to show you. Now, we're going to show you some new rules. I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you. And Nick, I really appreciate you taking the notes like you are, and Stephen, you are too, right in the front, because you're learning a lot. Absorb it all, because this is better than you get in an institution called the university right now. Okay, in fact, we've already showed you more than you've learned in the 4 years of your college education. Okay, you know how many finance majors you have in here too and don't get a clue? Zach, aren't you a finance major? Was. Did they teach you the rules? Did you graduate from FGCU? You did. I will go with you tomorrow. I know Bradshaw, is that his name? We'll go to his office and try to get you a tuition refund. Because they didn't teach you. A finance major didn't know the rule of 72. We think that's a travesty. How many of you agree with that statement? Fact. Now you got to know the rules of the game. Now, let's talk about that. Zach, Zach, you're a finance major, and if you don't know it, it's okay. So don't feel embarrassed. And see, I'm so glad he's picking on me. But as a finance major, I just want to know what they're teaching over there. How many tax brackets are there in the United States for income tax? Do you have any idea? Okay, let me tell you now. In TV land, there are 6. Put that in the sticky side of your brain. Got that, Joe? There's 6. Now, I'm only going to give you 3 of them, okay? Because I'm about to tell you things that will blow you away because I want you prepared. Now, the low side right now is 10%. The median is 25%, and the high one is 39.6% currently. So, based upon your income, you're in one of those 3. There's 6 brackets. Those are the low, median, and the high. How many of you think 39.6% is a lot to pay in federal income tax? Raise your hand. Okay. I'm here to tell you there's only been 2 other periods in the United States history that's been lower than that. That's one of the lowest. How many of you freaked out about that? You really? Here's the deal. I want to finish our financial story and then tell you the story about the company and your opportunity. Here's the deal. This is amazing to me. That, first of all, the data that I'm giving you is coming out, not for me again. How many people ever heard of the CBO? In fact, if you ever watch news broadcasts, you're going to hear it all the time. CBO, put it in the sticky side of your brain. It's called Congressional Budget Office. That's a division of the government that works for you. And also the GAO. You ever hear of that? General Accounting Office. What are they teaching you in school these days? I can't believe it. Okay, those are 2 branches of the government that completely work on your behalf. What they do, now that the Congress and the Senate passed the how it affects you as a taxpayer. They will analyze everything. Like, for instance, you get on TV, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, okay, came out and said after Obamacare was passed, and Obama was saying, oh, it's going to save everybody money. They came out and said, Mr. President, you got that all wrong. In fact, what's going to happen, you're going to lose 2.5 million jobs in this country as a result of what you just did, and the premiums are all going up, and so are people's deductibles. We just think you ought to know about it. Boom! Bipartisan group. It has nothing to do with politics. They work for you. Is everybody clear about that? The man that ran that. Now, here's the story. I want you to know something. See, you know what this is all about that I'm giving you? See, I stunk at math. How many of you are like me in school? In fact, I flunked geometry. Had to take it twice. I didn't like it so much, I just didn't pay attention. I couldn't. I don't know what a trapezoid's going to be used for in my life. You know, I just don't know. Round, I knew I was going to be chubby, but that's about the best I could be. So round, okay. But the trapezoid, I didn't get it. I didn't want to get it, so I shut down. I'm embarrassed to say I failed geometry. I had to take it twice. Anybody like me? Algebra, I struggled through that, and I leave the real ones. I didn't do good in that either. So I'm no good at math. Anybody like me? Here's what I can do, though. I can count money, Zach. That I learned how to do. Money and me get along okay. How about you in TV land? Okay? Am I right or right? How many of you can count money? Fine, then you can qualify. The trouble is you better learn how to do it and better how to learn to make work for you instead of you it. Now, here's some of the rules. Okay, we talk about tax efficiency. There's a guy. Now, because math doesn't lie. You do. The government does. Institutions do. Math doesn't. Zach, 2 and 2 is what? Joe, 10 and 10 is what? Melissa, 20 and 20 is what? You guys are brilliant. You're unbelievable. You know the answers. Kevin, are they pretty good? Okay. Stephen, you get it? Math doesn't lie. I like that. So straight talk and math. We're just giving you straight talk on the math, and now we're going to tell you the story. And we're going to tell you why the alternative exists. So you got to know the story. That's all this is. Putting the story together and informing you and giving you choice. You see, Nick, ask me what I do for a living. I profoundly make a difference in people's lives. How about you?
Server.
Awesome. You make a big difference. I can't wait for my food. Can you go get it, please? Okay, you make a difference. See, but see, here's the difference. Do you profoundly make a difference? Yes, you do at the moment. See, we do forever in legacies. We affect people's families. How many of you got a family? Family is the nucleus of your life. Your parents love you. You love your parents. You may not like them, but you love them. Hello? Am I right or right? So let me come back here again. Here's what happened. David Walker. David Walker is a guy that resigned from his post, so you know it. You can write his name down, put it in the sticky side of your brain. He was your head accountant in the United States government. He was the controller of the United States that had the CBO and the GAO work for him. And he came out and did a study. I'm not going through the whole study, okay? But I'm just going to give you the bottom line because of time constrictions. He turned around to the CBO and said, tell me what's going to happen if the government doesn't change by 2020 these tax rates. Where is it going to go? What's going to happen to these tax rates? And here's what the government said. They're not only going up, here's what they're doing. 10% is going to 25. 25 is going to 63. And this 39 point is going to 88%. Do people understand? I love this question. Who had a retirement account here? Zach, you do? See, Zach, we ask the question all the time. You got a retirement account? You go, yeah. I go, how much of that do you own? And what do you say? No, you don't say that, Zach. Yeah, that's what everybody says. All of it. Well, frankly, if you knew you don't own hardly any of it, would that make you cranky? Yes, so we educate people on what they don't own. And what we do, we already proved it to you on the example of the retirement account, didn't we? Big. So here, watch. Imagine having $1 million in your IRA or your 401k. You're going to bust your butt for the next 35 years because you just started working 40 years. And then at the end of it, have $1 million and say, yay! And then you're going to have to give the government 88% of that? Zach, are you kidding me? Can you live on 120 grand off $1 million? And I didn't account for the fees that your credit union takes. Amen. Mind-boggling, isn't it? People, you need to wake up. And here's why you get, see, everybody's just doing it because you don't know any better. Nobody came knocking on your door to say, hey, did you hear? Your parents don't know it. We had somebody, I can't remember, I got a story this week, some young lady went and couldn't wait to tell her mother, I'm opening up an IUL. I'm going to stop my IRA and I'm going to move my 401k. The parents said, no, you're not. The parents don't know what they don't know. And all you don't know will keep you broke. Am I right or right? She came home with a little bit of information and they discouraged her. See, let me make it really clear to you. There's only two kinds of courage in life. Get this straight in your heads. Okay, Kevin, you better get this good scripture for you, okay? There's two kinds of courage. You're going to teach the youngins this. There's encouragement and there's discouragement. Those are the only two courage there are. You know what discouragement is? It's the devil's tool. You know what encouragement is, Kevin? It's God's tool. We got to encourage people to do the right things and get smart. Does that make sense to you, Joe? Mm-hmm. Joe, you know what's so powerful here? You can't argue with one thing. You may not like me. I know you don't like Ryan. I understand that. Okay, but you can't argue with one thing we say. Zach, pretty powerful, isn't it? You can even disagree with it. It won't make a difference because the facts tell the story. The math is the math. The truth is the truth, right? And let me tell you why that's going up. You want to know why it's going up? Anybody want to know the answer to why that's going up? If you don't want to know, I'll just go right by it. Hello? Here's what he said. Tell us what it takes out of $1. Every dollar of tax dollar raised, every tax dollar, how much of the dollar, 4 departments, only 4, what I just said, Social and Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the interest on the national debt. That's it, those 4 departments. Not the Department of Forestry, not the FBI, not NASA, not the Army, National Guard, not Secret Service, all that, IRS, all of it, all of it. Forget all that. Just those 4 departments. Joe, how much does it take of $1 to run them right now today? $1? Yes, sir. Well, if that's the case, man, you're going to be working forever. And guess what? Boy, that's pretty depressing. Good answer. Okay, the true answer is 76 cents. Now, if nothing changes between now and 2020, what's that number go to, Stephen? In the back? Right answer, Stephen, 92 cents. Very good answer. How can you run the United States of America on 8 cents, Alex Tobar? You can't. It's mathematically impossible. In fact, everybody in this room is paying my Social Security. Thank you, because you ain't getting it. And that's what your parents are waiting for and rely on. Am I right or right? Go home and ask them tonight, what do they think they got for retirement? They don't even want to talk about it because it's freaky and it's scary now, and they're starting to worry, especially people in their 50s. They're starting to freak. People in their 60s, hey, if you saw that film, if you noticed anything in there, they're all older people. What's going to separate you from them? They're there already. better fast forward. You better look at what you're doing in your life right now that's going to fix it and change it. Otherwise, you're in that film. Hello. Numbers don't lie. They just don't. And you could be right there with it. So I don't mean to be bleak, because behind every adversity, there's an equal equivalency of a benefit. You got to find it, Alex. So that's what we're all about, giving the alternative. So we have an answer to that. See, that those taxes are going up, right? So now we're going to show you a story, but first I'm going to tell you why the story exists, okay? We have an alternative. So let me show you what the alternative is. Okay, you already went through this, Ryan, so I don't know why that went back. You didn't put it on the right one. So here's our answer, okay, for what you do. Our job is to create what we call an FIP. Anybody got theirs on them? Okay, let me have one, please. That's great. You see, back in TV land, this is called an FIP. Every one of our customers or clients get what's called an FIP. Zach, can you see it for me? You see what FIP means? You're right. It says Financial Independent Plan. Very good. He's sitting back there too far and he can't see. Hey, Stephen, do you have an FIP? Why not? It's a Financial Independent Plan. Do you want to be financially independent? Don't you think you ought to have one? Let me be bold, okay? I'm going to say something that's probably going to get you cranky. Ask me if I care. Ask me if I care. Mark? You care? Not in the slightest. Okay? Everybody in this room better arrange to have one immediately. If you don't, you're a horse's patoot. You deserve to be broke. How do you like that? We're giving you the answers. Everybody ought to learn how to make money work for you and move it from where it is. Because I'm telling you now, you're going to lose your 401ks and IRAs. In fact, right now as we speak, you don't know it because you're sleeping at the wheel and it's not your job to know it either. The government has a bill in Congress now. It's in committees right now, and they have talks. They're looking to nationalize your 401ks and IRAs. You know what that means? Anybody know what that means? They're going to nationalize them. Anybody know what that means? That means that they're going to take it and they control it. That's right. They're going to they're going to take it. All that can't happen. It's happened in several countries, Greece being the last one. Go look it up. Argentina. The government came in and took all the money funds because they think they know better than you. How many people get a little cranky about that? See, I don't want them taking my money. I'll do what I want with my money. I work too hard for it. Hello, are you all with me on that? Everybody should have one. Okay, most people don't. And then I've got one, like the lady's parents. They wanted her to have a 401k. They have no idea that she's paying 3%. And if you think I'm kidding, it's right in this book and a million other books. 5%. Incidentally, put this down. The United States government has already done the math, so it doesn't lie. 1% rate of return over a lifetime is the equivalent of 28%. Are you willing to pay an extra 28% in fees just because? And most people don't even know what they're paying in fees. Watch. Zach, how much are you paying in your 401k fees? Right, exactly. See, couldn't tell because he's not focused on it. Nobody came and said, wake up, Zach, until today. If you stay the way you are now, you deserve to be broken. I don't care. Okay, but if you want help, we're going to enlighten you, and you're going to move it. See, because in these FIPs, 9 out of 10 of our clients don't spend a dime out of their pocket. We're shifting money from A to B. How many people think they could do that? A to B. And in this case, it cost him money. $38, and for $38, he has wow. You have $350,000 of life insurance.
There's a dump in there.
Oh, pretty good. $350,000. I like to get the raise, and I want to be the beneficiary. Every month gets him $350,000 of life insurance. He has living benefits, which I'll describe in a moment, and more importantly, how about this one? For a tax-free retirement, he's got $103,000. Excuse me, is it? Yeah, is it? Yeah, $103,753 of tax-free income. He doesn't make but $38,000 for the government for being a biologist full time, 40 hours a week. He's going to make $103,000 tax-free when he's 66 years old, just for $38 a month. Do you think that's a pretty good plan, Zach? Every year for the rest of his life. That's an FIP. Now, in his case, he had to spend money. In most people's cases, no money out of pocket. Kevin, is that brilliant? Okay, I think so too. Do you like that, Michelle? I do too. So watch. Melissa, I did it again. Michelle, Melissa, you're going to be a different name every week. Okay, thank you. Now, here's the story. Here's our option. It's just an alternative. Now, before I even bring you over here, watch this. Stay with me. Okay, come over here, Ryan, on the board again, right? It didn't happen only about 10 years ago, really. How about that? And it started over 50 years ago. You see, does anybody, you know, we talk about taxes. Does anybody have an accountant in here? Okay, just a couple of people. It's amazing. Okay, I guarantee you, Joe, your accountant probably doesn't know these rules. You know why?
Why?
Okay, the tax code. Do you have any idea how big that thing is?
I've seen it red, yeah.
You've seen it red?
It's not myself, but I know. Yeah, well, other people that I know personally.
Are they still reading it? The reason I ask you that, it's 93,000 pages long.
Doesn't surprise me. That's
Now, listen to this. You know why nobody knows what's going on? Fact. Look it up. Newsweek covers it every year in Business Week. Every year at tax season, they give all the top 10 accounting firms throughout the country one guy's tax year statements. Same guy, same expense, same everything, to 10 different firms. You know what they get back? 10 different returns. Who knows what's going on? Who is the expert? Remember, the definition of an expert is somebody you don't know. I want to know who an expert is. Shouldn't an expert all get it right, Nick? Shouldn't they all be on the same page? See, 93,000 pages, they don't even know what they're doing. So let me tell you what I do know about that. In the tax code, I'm going to give you sections. You can go look this up. Section 7702 and 101. It was written over 50 years ago. 50 years ago, in the tax code, this allows us to do what I'm about to show you. Fact, you got to know the history. So you can say, how can you do this? Because it's too good to be true. I'm giving you the facts. The tax code allows you to get tax-free income. There's rules to it, though. And that's the two sections, 7702 and 101. 50 years. How many of you evolve with time? How many of you look different than you did when you were first born? Thank you. How many of you know you're going to get wrinkly when you're older? Oh, man, you don't want to see that progression, do you? I'm dealing with it myself right now. Okay, don't laugh at that, Vanilla. That wasn't funny. Okay? You got it. Then the next thing, 1970, what was it? 9, right? 6? 6, thank you. A guy named Bogle. John Bogle, who's still alive. An older man. John Bogle's brilliant. He's a manager of a fund called the Vanguard Fund, one of the best mutual funds in the country. Profound. He created an investment strategy called indexing. He created that term, indexing. It's a strategy. It's not an investment itself. It's a way to do it. He created that. That's why you're in here tonight, because he did something great back in. He got really mad at the people that said they could time the market, and he went and beat them 9 out of 10 times. In fact, Ryan found we have white papers in our back office. White papers are scientific verification of data to prove your hypothesis is no longer theory, it's a fact. And it gives you the data as to why. Everybody clear about that? And here's what the white papers say. You should be, every average and ordinary American right now, everybody should be indexing if you're going to invest. Why? Because you beat the market over 80% of the time. And after 5 years, you beat it 92% of the time. Why would you not want to have 92% beat? Are you crazy? Why would you go risk when you know that's a fact? Boom, but you don't know the facts. So indexing is brilliant. John Bogle beat the system. He's brilliant for it. He's the man. He's the grandfather of it all. Everybody clear about that? Then, in 1999, rules changed. My man's not here to ask, but he always does it, Trey. There's a famous 2 congressmen passed a law that up until 1999, here's the truth. Now, insurance companies can only do insurance, stockbrokers can only do stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and banks can only do banking. For the longest time, there was a law set in place. It was called the Glass-Steagall. You changed it because he always says Steagall-Glass Act, whatever the hell he says. Okay? That was the act that 2 guys got together, and they completely reformed 90, changed the law. Changed the law, and they said, go compete. Banks could compete with stockbrokers compete with insurance companies. They all could. Have at it. Go get it. Who won that war, Zach? Who do you think? Just take a guess. Yeah, between those three. If they're going to compete for business, I'm coming out to compete with you. Am I going to win or you going to win? I mean, it was you're a bank. You're a bank. You're a credit union. I'll be the insurance company. Joe will be the exactly. Okay, who's going to win? We're competing. Who's going to win that game? You do. Oh, Big Joe, he's laying down. Poker one. Good, thank you, Zach. No, I'm waiting for your answer. I'm going to the whole TV audience. Wrong, both of you. I didn't think so, right? Okay. So here's the deal. Thank you for your participation, but here's the deal. Okay. The insurance companies. Now, why, Nick, would the insurance companies win? I gave you the answer last week.
They have the most money.
Exactly. They're the wealthiest. They control 80%, over 80% of global wealth. Did you hear that? In fact, how many of you drive a car and have auto insurance? How many of you got some kind of life insurance? How many of you now know you got to have health insurance? Okay, how many of you know if you own a home, homeowners, you're insurance to death? Am I right or right? Think about it. And not everybody's dying and all that kind of stuff right away. They're making a lot of money. Hello, insurance companies got more wealth than anybody. So when they're able to compete with finances now, get out of town. Guess what they did? They came by and they used this rule that changed. They used this rule that already existed to create the product I'm about to tell you. And it's called an IUL. Okay, it's called an Indexed Universal Life Plan. It's got formed in the year 2000 and perfected in about 2004. That's why you've never heard of it. That's why your brokers don't even understand it. It's too complicated for people. So watch this one. I'm going to come and show you what it's all about now. True example, by the way. Here it is. This is based upon $100,000 invested from 97 to 2012. Now, the red line is the stock market. Now, everybody gives you all these fancy terms. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to get you. It's not a finance lesson here today, but there's different what they call indexes. Okay, you ever hear who in here's ever heard of Dow Jones? Right? If you're like me, I heard it, but I didn't know what the heck it is. How many people don't know what the heck that is? Right, Kevin, you're going to get a lesson. The Dow Jones is an index average. Okay, it's only 30 different companies in about 6 different industries. That's it. So out of 6 industries, 30 companies. Everybody rates those companies on a daily, weekly basis to decide how the economy is overall doing. Then they created what they call the S&P 500. You ever hear of that one? That's the top 500 companies. That's the one most people are using to this day. When I say top 500, believe me, it's every company. It's the Apples, the Microsofts, the IBMs, the Johnson & Johnsons, the Procter & Gambles, the top of the top. Understand, Alex? And people say, what happens if they all lose money? If they all lose money, you're doing one of 3 things. Speaking Russian, Chinese, or you're dead. Everybody clear? So don't kid yourself. It's the top 500 companies. That's what the S&P 500 is. And by the way, if any of you got a retirement account, 85% of your money is in that. Right there. So you're looking at what you have. Now, the stock market, and Melissa, okay, all right, I'm working on it. Okay, I'm going to call you Miranda next week. No. so poor Melissa, I pick on her. Now, and I tease all the time. How many people know that stock market is just like a woman's move? For all you women in TV land, don't get mad at me. You can't throw anything at me, so I'm safe. Okay, but here's the deal. How many people know? How many people think that, Stephen, you know this, are women moody more than men? Yes. Melissa, would you agree to that? Yeah. Oh, yo, an honest woman. Okay? I'm glad my wife's not here because she goes, oh, shut up. Stop saying that stuff. Okay? But, you know, it's mood swing. Like, watch my wife. She's not here. Hey, it's your birthday. Yo, I forgot. Ooh, she gets PO'd. Hey, I made dinner for her. Hey, it burned. Boom. Okay? Hey, I did the laundry. Boom. I forgot the bed sheets. Boom. You know, they're happy 1 minute, mad the next. How many people know mood swings? The stock market's just like that. In fact, the stock market's in for a crash, everybody, coming up. Do you agree with that, Zach? Yes. Wow, he's being safe, right? He goes, should I even argue with him? You have to. You know why? Ryan will show you a little later. What goes up must do what? All the time. Zach, it's never been higher. So what, can it keep going into infinity, or is it going to correct sometimes, Zach? Amen. And when it crashes big, doesn't it? Is that a big crash? Holy smokes. Is that a big crash? Man, now, so watch. If you put $100,000 in back in 1997 to this, that's what you'd have. Two things. We already covered it. Let me do it again, Big Joe. Joe, I want to see if you're paying attention. See, that looks good. You happy about the 165?
Yeah.
Well, here's what they didn't tell you. Did you pay taxes yet?
No.
Boom! How many people just know I knocked them out? Boom! Did you feel that one, Joe?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. How many people know that he stutters very well? Okay. So, Joe, you're safe there, buddy. So, Joe, I'll say 25%. I know you don't know this because you're not a mathematician. I get it. But what's 25% of 165? You're exactly right, Nick. It's about $40,000. Very good answer. So you got to take off $40,000 there, Joe, just like that, because your uncle loves you. Do you love your uncle that much?
Well, no, not for me.
Oh, and then, Mr. Broker, you got to pay a minimum of 3%. 3% on 30,000 is what? I mean, on 100,000 is how much? Another 30,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's 40,000 and 30,000. Last time I checked, and I'm not really good at counting. 40 and 30 is?
70.
Right, you got to deduct 70,000 off that. So 70,000 off it, now you wind up with 95,000 net number. Aren't you excited about your future? And that's what all of your parents are doing right now and don't have a clue, and so are you. If you don't fix it, you're dead broke. And don't come back to me because I don't care. I care about the people who are willing to learn, listen, and take back control of their lives and want to make a difference in somebody else's life. Educate America. Everybody ought to hear what we're saying. Not one person should go without this knowledge. And if you walk out of here and don't do something in your life, you deserve to be broke. Remember I said that. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, act. And procrastination, you all know what procrastination means? No, you don't. I'm going to tell you what it means. Failure. You procrastinate and don't do what you're supposed to do, you're a failure. You can't wait to win. Winning doesn't understand waiting. Winning is urgency. Winning is getting the job done. Winning is getting on after it. Winning is applying what you know. I'm a coach. I want to win. I don't go out to practice just to practice. I go out to play and win. I go out to conquer. I go out to compete. I go out to want to win and walk off that field and say, yes, we did it. Sorry, I get emotional and pumped up about winning because there's only two things you're going to do in life besides die. You're going to win or lose in things. There's winning and losing. We want to win. The banks, the insurance companies, and mortgage companies have been taking your money long enough. Why don't you take control of your life now and go share it with your families? Am I right or right?
Right.
You want to argue with me now, Joe?
I have some questions.
We're going to answer in a minute. You hold them. I'm probably going to answer for you. But bam! Did I boom you right there, Joe? I freaked you out, right? So that's the stock market. Now the blue line is an IUL. I'm going to explain what that is. That's done by an insurance company. And they will contractually guarantee your money, that you never lose your money. They contractually say, here's what they're going to do. Let me put it on the board for you. You got that camera over here, Ryan?
Yep.
I don't know if they can see real good there. We have to work on this. Visuals. Here it is. It gives you life insurance. It gives you living benefits. It gives you a retirement ability to take when you take your money. All because of Section 7702 and 101 of the tax code. You understand things. In fact, the tax code says by putting it inside a life insurance policy. Never even knew that. Pretty good law, isn't it? So it's not just about life insurance. Okay? Pretty good. So, what's that blue line? The blue line, they give you a contractual guarantee that when the market drops, you never lose your money. Here's what they tell you. You'll get these S 14% and you're capped. So what's that mean? Let's say the market, Nick, returns 25%. How much are you going to get? Right. If the market does 18%, what are you going to get? Right. If the market does 12, what are you going to get? Right. If the market does minus 10, what are you going to get? 0. You don't lose anything. Your money stays flat. Pretty good, isn't it? Right there alone, it trumps everything. Show me something better. See, I challenge anyone, anywhere, show me something better. I haven't had one soul rise up yet and tell me something better. Not one. I put it out there every week, every month. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think you know. Show me something better. Can't do it. How about I love being right about something once in my life. How many of you just want to be right about something? Right? Now you got a shot. Now, we do the talking with it for you because you can't do it by yourself because you just learned. Stephen, you okay back there? All right. Now, so the blue line, so notice that when the market goes down, what happened here? Stayed level. Now watch. Over here, you got a net $211,000. What's the difference here, Big Joe?
Between that and the 165?
Yes, sir. Okay, remember, we had to deduct what? Two things, taxes and fees here. So you were back below 100,000, right? Here, fees are already taken out, and you don't pay taxes on this money. This is your money, tax-free. You got access to 211,000. What you want? You want the red line or the blue line?
The blue line looks nice.
What?
The blue line looks nice.
How nice does it look?
I mean, 211 compared to 95 looks very nice.
I don't think there's a lot there to think about. Do you agree?
It's again, questions. Tax-free is very sticky situation.
Let me give it to you. Do you know tax code 7702101? I want you to go home and read it tonight. It's not very sticky. It's the exact reason you can do this. Okay, I just gave you the law. See, I told you.
I'm curious what it is. I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to access it.
No, you can. I'm going to give it to you. Perfect. See, listen, there's nothing here that we don't give you. You see, we are so sure about it. Everything is verifiable. It's the law. We're using the law to educate you and let you have options that you don't know you have. See, now watch. Let's see if you understand this. And by the way, legislators, when they make laws, how many of you all hear the term loopholes? Why don't you know the loopholes? In fact, the irony is, why are there loopholes? What do loopholes mean, Joe?
Loopholes mean there's a way around the system.
Oh! So why do they write a law and then write the loopholes to go around that law?
People still have to be able to break the law.
And who might that be?
Probably the people who made the law.
Oh, give him a round of applause. That guy's a brilliant answer, and he's exactly right. Zach, you didn't clap for him. All right, very good. All right. No, that was brilliant. I see. You know why? Because most people don't get that. You see, I was a mayor. I understand the rules of the game. I've played it. I'm a qualified guy. Okay, I'm not just talking out of hype. You understand? See, I'm coming in like a freight train because people either see you gotta lead, follow, or get out of the way because I'll run you over. I'm here to make a profound difference in people's lives and move. You know, questions are awesome. In fact, the cynicism you got is great because you'll be the best advocate when you get all the answers. In fact, I get it. But the knuckleheads that still stay cynical, you deserve to be broke, and I don't feel one bad for you at all. And I'll haunt you every time I see you. How about that, Mark? Is that pretty bold? Okay, guess what? This is the way you go. You want to be successful in life? Learn to be bold. Learn to step out. Learn to control your life so you can lead others. Am I making any sense in here? Yep. Okay? Sorry if I offend you, and if you are, it's meant to be. Okay? And so I just put the rules on the board for you. When the laws were, why it was made, and how it was all created and why it was. So I gave you the story. Now listen to this. Most of you don't think this is going to happen. Watch this room. In TV land, play along with this real quick because I got to hurry up on this one. Who in this room knows somebody? Because I told you it has three things. Life insurance, living benefits, and tax-free income. I covered life insurance already, just talked about, showed you what life insurance, didn't show what it was, showed you Ryan's, and the tax-free retirement. Here's the deal, living benefits. Everybody needs that in this room. And if you don't think so, I'm about to screw your head on right now. Who in this room knows somebody 65 or younger that's had either a heart attack, stroke, or some form of cancer and is still living? Raise your hand, please. Okay? That's everybody in the room. Did you raise your hand, Melissa? You did? Stephen, hi, Stephen, because I'm a midget. I can't see back there. Okay? Everybody in this room raised their hand. That's 4 meetings in a row, 100%. Last week, there were 30 people sitting in here. That means that 21 of them, it was going to happen to them. There's 20 in here now, so take your pick. That's 14 of you. You're going to have a heart attack, a stroke, or which one? You figure it out. You? Guess what? I got 2 stents in my heart when I was 48. In shape, too. The only way I found it, going up a mountain on a bike. Angina hit me. Okay? Silent killer, they call it. You don't know what you don't know. Living benefits. 2 doctors formed it and caused this to happen. Most of you don't know it. 1967, you weren't even born, most of you. Okay, the Bernard brothers, Christian Bernard, and I think Matthias, his name is, doctors from South Africa, did the first open heart surgery, and they did the first heart transplants. They're famous, and they were big over in Europe, too. Okay, so recently, about 10 years ago or so, Matthias, we have the video. It's 4 minutes long. We have a library of information in our back offices that will choke you with all the data. You can go every day and watch one video for 10 minutes apiece or 4 minutes. We did that because you're all ADHD and I know it, okay, because you don't pay attention. Too many of you are too into texting. LOL! Oh, man, who does all that crap? I don't even understand all that stuff, but you're LOLing all the time. You see, I was ready to kill my own son. I sent him a message. He read it, and he skimmed it. And he missed the whole point. Well, I didn't read the whole thing, Dad. Well, read it. That's why I sent it. You LOL people, cut it out. Be thorough. How am I doing? You young guys, man. Ooh. Am I right or right? Get your kids off that crap. Don't let them do it. Straighten them out now. How am I doing? Parenting class 101 right here, free. Okay, so where was I going? Where was I going, Pablo? Yeah. So the Bernard brothers, here's a true story, okay? He had a lung transplant, young woman in her early 30s. 2 kids or 3 kids came in. Interviewing her, he goes, you're failing. What are you doing? She goes, I'm back at work. He goes, you don't work. You have to convalesce. You have to heal yourself. Stephen, she said, Doc, I don't think 2 kids. She was dead and was dead. The doctor flew over to Europe where he had a lot of ties in England, got them together and said, you guys are morons. I'm doing the vernacular, okay? I'm doing it in my version because he's much more polite. And he said he flew over there and said, you morons, what's wrong with you? He goes, I keep people alive and you're killing them. And yet they have life insurance. What good is it when they're dead? You already have that money in reserve waiting for them. It's guaranteed. You're a cash reserve company. So why don't you give it to them when they need it? She could have used it while she was dying or convalescing. They said, you know, you're right. They created a brand new product called Living Benefits. Out of 2,700 insurance companies in this country, there's only about 18 doing it right now. Folks, I'm going to come at you about the business. This business is unique because we're ahead of the curve. There's only about 18 companies doing what we're doing right now. And 3 of the 18 are with us exclusively in what is, if you're chronically ill, critically ill, or terminally ill, you have access to your money, Alex, up front. Is that good or great? It's really great. Okay, so if you're chronically ill and you need the money that health insurance won't cover, now you have money you can take and live. Does that make sense to you, Zach? See, Zach, Dad, watch this one. Okay, on heart attacks. What's the average age of heart attack? You're right. 42. Kevin, what's the average bankruptcy in this country? Age. You're right, Kevin. You're brilliant. Now, and by the way, 78% of these people that were 42 and had heart attacks had the proper health insurance. The doctors got paid, the hospitals got paid, and after that, why? Can you work after you have a stroke or a heart attack, a major one? Can you go back to work? So they're not paying you. So what are you living off of? All your savings. So then they go bankrupt. Living benefits stop that from happening. Does that make sense to you all? This happens to every one of your people that you just talked to, the 7 out of 10. And there's 7 out of 10 people right here are going to be sick like that. What are you doing to offset that right now? See, Ryan, in your policy, how much you got? See, in living benefits, can you look that up and tell me? So he gets a life insurance, $350,000 life insurance. He gets $103,000 tax-free income and living benefits. What do you got?
$530,000.
$530,000. That and food stamps gets him by for a weekend. How many of you agree? Okay. See, and that's living benefits. Chronic and critical illness. He even gets more for the terminal illness. Terminal illness means you're deemed to be diagnosed with a terminal illness. You'll be dead within 2 years. Take your money and live a dignified life. In fact, we went out to Las Vegas at a convention and met a guy that he just converted a plan. In fact, watch this one. Zach, do you have life insurance by any chance? Okay, watch. Anybody here have life insurance? See, you're all young. Usually you do. I know that, but guess I was looking for. See, your parents do, and I love this. When I go to them, you know what I say, Nick? You got the new or the old kind. You know what they say to me? I must have the old kind because I don't know what the new kind is. Right. I love that question. You got the new or the old kind? They don't know how to answer it. See, we're going to teach you. Like, you got a retirement account? Yeah. How much of that do you own? Everybody, 100%. Would you throw up if you know you don't even own a quarter of it? Boom. See, we're going to teach you the art of asking questions. You got to make people think because they think they already know. You got to move them from where they are to where reality is. That makes sense? So, on living benefits, where was I going with that now, Pablo?
Vegas, you know, the guy.
Yeah, oh yes, thank you. So he just traded in his old policy for a new policy. 2 weeks later, diagnosed with ALS. Incurable disease, was already walking with a cane, just got married. They paid him the money in a week. He just went in, quit his job. He's going to live out the rest of his life with dignity, with the money he had. You met him, Ryan, am I right or right?
Yeah.
Felt bad about the guy. I'm shaking it. And then another guy said, oh, we're going to find a cure. Right now they don't have one, and that's the death sentence. Okay, it's not a good one either because your body just breaks down. You can't even breathe. You suffocate to death. It's a sad, sad, debilitating disease, and there's so many of them out there, and it's going to hit one of us. Okay, I'm just talking about life. Am I right or right? And it never's going to happen to you. That's what you walk around thinking. It's smart to have a plan, to be organized in life. So now we build a business. I told you earlier when we opened up, I'm not going to go through the company like I should, and I apologize for you in TV land. You got to tune in next week for a better thing, because I'm doing a thing on the debt too. Thursday night, we have our debt programs up and running. We are now in the debt business, okay? And we brand ourselves as consumer advocacy. Anybody ever see this magazine, Consumer Reports? Most young people, I'm shocked, you mostly don't see it. Older people like me, I read it all the time. When I want to buy a car, you want to buy a television, anything. It covers all sorts of products, and what they do, there's a nonprofit organization that buys and tests everything that they put through all sorts of rigorous tests and surveys. And then they rate them, also by their opinion and by cost factors. So it's a great reference material when you're shopping for things. In this one, which was, what month? September 2013, ironically, they're talking about 401ks. Look at that. Growing your savings, make more money with your 401k. 401ks are overcharging you. You don't know it. In fact, Zach, do you have any idea how many fees you're paying in your 401k? Enough. Can I add? You want me to tell you what you are paying? You're paying anywhere between 12 and 17 different fees. How does that make you feel? Oh, totally. And they disguise it so he doesn't have a clue. They don't want him to know, because if he knew it, he wouldn't be doing it. Am I right or right? And then you get smoked by, well, they're contributing to my salary. I'll show you how to do better and not be having to pay taxes on the money. How does that do for you? We're only giving you the peripheral part of our presentation. You got to learn the meat more. There's a lot more to learn, by the way, a ton. Okay, we're just surfacing it for you so you get the picture, so you get a feel for it. So we have a business opportunity we turned it into. We're a marketing company, and we specialize in 4 areas. 4, by the way, which is pretty good. Energy, we do in 14 different states for deregulated states. And by the way, Massachusetts is open, and we're kicking butt in Massachusetts because the prices just completely went through the roof up there, and we're competitive. Ohio, Illinois is online for us. Right now, Maryland's off the template for the time being. So, Pete Gugano, if you're looking at this, I got to talk to you tomorrow about that. Okay, it's just temporary, though. In fact, there's a meeting Friday. Every state is going through metamorphosis. It's being deregulated. I'll explain it later. But that's what we started out in. And it was really great because why overpay on your utility costs? Who in here, who all uses electricity? Thank you, just checking. In fact, this kills me. Who in here, you go and flick a switch, am I right or right? Hello, Nick, how does that work, though? No, but how does electricity get to your house? How does it work? Yeah, but how's that work? How does that work? Okay, and where are they making it? How are they doing it? You can say, I don't know. Right. Zach, do you know how that power gets from Niagara Falls to make that light go on? Do you know how it gets from the coal plant? How makes that light go on? Mark, do you know how the nuclear power gets that light to go on? No, but you guys use it every day and don't give a crap. And then the thing is, you overpay for it because you don't know any better. Boom! And right now you have no choice. I don't like monopolies. How many of you resent monopolies like I do? Monopolies mean they dictate to you and you have no choice. I like choice. I think every American in this country ought to have choice. How many people agree with that statement? Fine, that's what we give to you. That's all we're about. Okay? That's one area. Then audits. I'm not going to go through it, but we go into businesses and we show people how to save money in their electric bills, gas, water, and electric. And then we do merchant accounts where they swipe credit cards and save money. And we all for antiquated lines and high prices. We go in a company that we associate ourselves with, that we're partners with, up in Connecticut, does the whole audit, and we get them. We go back 3 to 6 years doing audits for people. That's just a way to generate income. Those two are residual incomes that come back into you. If you have 1,000 people paying your electric bills, you're making money by 1,000 people every month. That's residual income. Then we get into debt, and then we get into the financial services. Now let me make it very clear to you. We have a promotion track. And as the vice president, that's really the first real high level of management. That's where you're like an agency. So we have a relatively simple system and a way to get there in 90 days if you want to get to that contract level. If I were you, I'd get to that level. Everybody clear about that? So, and I'll show you what you got to do to get there. Okay? But we have a BV contract. Now, why did I get in the money business? And here's why, Stephen. Because the financial services industry, I found out when I was a little older than you, is the highest paid industry in the United States. Okay, if you're going to, everybody get that? And then when you find out how much people don't know about it, you get an opportunity. Does that make sense to you, Kevin? So watch. As a VP, the average customer is saving $300 a month that we have. When you transact business for $300 a month, the insurance company, as a VP, is going to send you $3,000. Zach, how long does it take you to earn $3,000 now? A couple months. This would take you 3.5 hours when you qualify a customer. 2 months, 5 hours? That'd be a smart business plan, I think. That's mind-boggling. That's exactly what the industry pays, and it's not out of the client's pocket. Everybody clear about that? Okay? The financial institutions pay us that money. Now watch. You do a debt transaction, and I was going to show you a film, but we don't have the time now. I want you to know it's a great one. Okay, I'm going to start showing them, and we're having a conference call this Thursday all about the debt. It's a great, 2 women buying the same house with the same interest rate at the same time, doing our program. It's a GPS system. It's a program. It's a software program that stays with you forever when you purchase it. And you put all your debts in it, and it gets you completely debt-free in about 9 years versus 30 when you own a mortgage, and you own your house outright. How many people, and you have no more debt, and now you're putting in your retirement account, taking vacations, doing what you want with all your money. How many people think they get ecstatic about that? Not spending any of your money, not refinancing, not doing anything besides following our GPS system. And by the way, how many of you use the GPS system in your car? Then why wouldn't you do it in your financial life? And when you go out, how many of you ever screwed up on the system and went past where you're supposed to go, and it reroutes you? So does this system. In fact, it's flexible because any other system out there now, they're not telling you the truth. Your life changes daily. Your income might go up, it might go down. You might have to all of a sudden have an emergency and buy something else big that hits your bit. Well, you can change it right in your system every day. In fact, if we went out for dinner tonight and you bought and swiped your card and went out in your car and opened up your tablet and brought up your program, you'd see what it just did to your debt structure. Just like that. It's that live. It's real lifetime. It is not good. It's awesome. So as a VP, when you do just one, okay, in the debt, I'm only showing you 2 areas. This is the insurance and investment, okay, and this is the debt. When you're out here as a VP, you'd be paid $1,509. So last time I checked, that's $4,500 for helping one person in both areas. That's over $54,000 a year as a VP just transacting one piece of business a month. That's, in fact, if you did here, forget the, how many people get excited about that debt and all of a sudden, $1,500? See, if I were you, I'd go be a VP overnight. In fact, there's 3 people sitting here on track. Oh, no, Trey's gone. He's up in, where is he? He's in Wisconsin. But he's on track to become a VP by the end of August. He's on track, and so is Trey Carter right now. Stephen, I'd get with it. Okay, what do you have to do? You have to have 5 transactions done yourself as training. Okay? Melissa, you listening to me? Sponsor 5 people to your business within 90 days. And when I say do the same, have the 5 transactions done. That's it. That's a total of 20 transactions. Your 5 and 3 of the 5 get it done. And you get it. You won't know everything. You won't understand everything. You still got to learn a bunch, but you got the top contract. I'd do it if I were you. I remember when I saw this 30 years ago, I said, when I understood, I go, just show me what to do and get out of the way. Just show me what to do. I want that top contract. Show me how to get it. I want to be independent. That will make you wealthy. See, if you did 8 transactions in the insurance alone between you and 3 other people, that's the equivalent of $129,000 a year. Now you got to add in this. So do one yourself. You're talking over $150,000 a year. You know why that's huge? Because the truth be told, right now, Joe, there's only 4% of the United States population makes more than $100,000 a year. That's it. Your resumes don't qualify you. You're never going to make $100 grand with your resumes. Not doing what you're doing now. Everybody clear about that? That's pretty sad. Master's degree, $38,000. He'd have to become a PhD, which means pile high and deep, and work for 30 years before he'd make $100,000. Not 30, but 20. Maybe. That's just the way it is in this country, okay? Independent business operators with very little expense. Go build your own business, build a team, have fun. Who doesn't need, see, here's what I'm so excited about now. We help every segment of society. The brokest of broke to the wealthiest of the wealthy. And by the way, Zach, for your benefit, we also have a brand new relationship. And on next Thursday, on April 7th, we're having a special meeting. We now do commercial lending. He just did a commercial loan for under $25,000. Pretty good. I just talked to him today, by the way. Okay? He didn't even know what he's doing. Filled out a form. He submitted it. We have over 3,500 lenders that will work on this outside traditional lending. Boom! Pretty good, isn't it? And you get paid. Not only that, but we have a RIA company now, broker Joe. How about that? We have an investment house now that does RIA. Ryan, what's that stand for?
Registered Investment Advisor.
You hear that? Registered Investment Advisor. Rather than work for a broker who works for commissions, these people work for fees, and it's based on performance. They don't get the business unless they perform. Does that make sense, Michelle? Boom. So all the people outside of what we do, they will make extra money. I screwed up again, right? Okay. I know. I keep calling her Michelle. I don't know why that is. The day I first met you.
Only you can call me back.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, Steven's watching you. Oh, you did it again. I just got a deficiency, you know what I mean? So, that's what we do. Who in there think that's a buttload of money? Alex, would you like to free up 40 hours a week? Isn't that what you're doing now? For the mall? That's what I mean, Alex. Well, if we paid you $100,000, would you stay there? I didn't think so. Okay, pretty good. Nick, what kind of questions do you have? What'd you like best about what you saw or heard?
When you get into the 3 out of the 5 do the same.
Yeah, I don't care what, we don't care who or what. We wanted to make it so doable that we didn't care, but we knew that you got to have at least 5 directs to you. That's if you're going to build a business. Not everybody's made to build a business. Some people are just going to be, by the way, you can still get promoted to the top contract on personal production. Thank you for bringing that up. So know that. Number 2 is when you are a builder, somebody, they're always going to refer somebody to you. No question about it. So just make your business flourish. Every good business, in fact, when you have a very good doctorate you go to, do they advertise or is it word of mouth? Thank you very much. You know, we are MDs, money doctors. You know, and when you do good, people refer you. Boom. So So we have a standard that go get 5 directs, of which we don't care, of the 5, just have 3 of them complete their trainings within 9 time frame. 90 days, you get the contract, you got to go the production way, whatever that is. And it's in our back office. Make sense? Okay. Somebody, Joe.
Well, just to kind of elaborate on that, that's 3 out of 5 is also not including the original 5 transactions.
That's you. Yeah, you got to get 5 yourself.
What are those transactions?
Transacting business, moving people's money from A to B, educating them, showing them, giving a choice, and having them become a customer, getting what we call an FIP.
Okay. The other question I had was just kind of one was tax-free. Curious about how money that you're bringing into your own personal pocket is not going through a hand and having to cut you.
That's very good. It's a good question. I'm going to give you an abridged version because I don't want to go into the details. It opens up a whole subject.
It's a very loaded question.
No, but here's a simple answer. Because you're giving your money to the insurance company, it's the insurance company that's investing. In another class, we'll tell you where they're investing that money in order to make their returns. So just like you're giving it to a broker, they're investing in mutual funds you have no clue about, or stocks or bonds and everything else. Am I right or right?
I'm sorry.
When you invest through a broker, they're doing the same thing. They're investing your money all over the place. Stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, correct? Well, the insurance company has their investment technique. However, they flat out contractually guarantee you the S&P 500 rate of return capped at 14%.
Right.
The reason why it is because you have an accumulation account that's running and earning money every year. When you put in there that I want my money, in his case at 66 years of age, the computer already ran exactly based upon his accumulation fund how much he has in there, and it's still growing. The insurance company is going to loan him money every year, $103,000 based upon his accumulation account and collateralized by his life insurance. It's a wash loan. It's brilliant business. Did you understand that?
I did. I'm following.
So can you tax a loan? Are you ever paying tax on a loan? No. Well, you don't have to. See, in this case, you don't have to because you're making enough. It's a wash loan.
Well, I've never heard of a wash loan before for that caliber.
But you never heard of an IUL before either, have you?
No, you're correct. That was Index Universal List.
Life.
Life. Thank you. Thank you.
Just you heard of it before doesn't mean it's not.
No, believe me. Again, like you said, I'll be proud and let's
apply it.
Yes.
He's pretty good. He's got good questions, doesn't he?
My other question, last one, was the plateau system. It looks, the blue line looked to me. My curiosity is, if you put money into something and the money that you put in, that business starts to decline, you're losing money. How is it that you never see a decline, even if you see a, from what they said earlier, 5% decrease?
Because it's a contractual guarantee. The insurance company backs it up. And the insurance company, for your edification, is another good question, is a legal reserve company. Do you understand what that means?
No.
Okay, let me describe it for you then. Any legal reserve company, and it's by law, for every, and in truth, one of the companies we represent, for every $100 of liability they take on, they have $113 in assets.
Okay.
So they have to have more money in their coffers to handle their assets.
Right.
That's the law. They get audited every year by the state and the federal government.
Right.
Okay? So it's a legal reserve company.
Okay.
And so they have more money, or they can't do it.
Right. I understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around the people who are losing money. I'm not.
It's not actually in the S&P 500 here.
Yeah, well, see, true, but he's not asking.
He's seeing the line go down.
All right, well, that's true. See, well, let me bring that back up. See, your money is not, okay, it's in the insurance.
They're putting it in other places.
Yeah, they are.
That's out of the class.
They are, and they have.
Okay.
Okay, that's why it's a legal reserve company. I'm not going. I don't want to go through a whole lesson. I can't.
No,
And when you come back and you want to get more, we give you all those details. Listen, there's no secrets here. Zero. In fact, you get overeducated. Okay, we want you to know everything, not just what they want you to hear. You want to know the whole story. So great questions for a newbie. Okay, great questions. Kevin, what'd you like best about what you heard tonight? Amen. That was a quick one. That was very good. Steve, what about you? Oh, see, you're the first one. Bang. Right. But you know what? Do nothing. Right. Right answer. So this place plays very well. If you do nothing, we pay you nothing. You do something, you get paid that kind of money. Ain't that something? Zach, any questions for you? Sure. Like best about what you heard? Can't. Contractually guaranteed. By the largest industry in the world. Did you hear that again? You need to get that. Largest industry in the world. Backing it up. More money than anybody. Huh? What's that? Walmart. It's bigger than Walmart. Man, much bigger than Walmart. Boy, you must shop at Walmart a lot, man. Walmart's are big.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, billions.
176 billion.
Yes, yes. I mean, the 6 kids, the Walk kids, have more money than the 42 bottom percent of the United States.
Are you looking for one of the granddaughters?
I'm actually not. You said the biggest industry, bigger than Walmart. That's impressive.
Insurance. Who do you know that doesn't have it?
Walmart pays a lot of money.
See, not everybody, and not everybody shops at Walmart. Right. Everybody who drives a car has what? In this country, 150 million people have life insurance. Ain't that something? 150 million of them, and the wrong kind. How about that? Everybody drives a car. How many people drive a car in this country? You want to go out and start counting?
Not really.
Okay. How many houses do you see when you're driving? Oh man, and they all have like homeowners on them. You follow what I'm saying? Oh man, it's huge. It's huge. And health insurance. Yeah. Woo! All you youngins are going to be paying big bills for old bucks like me. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you can thank Obama. And you're going to get rap. The rap is coming, by the way. It's coming to a theater near you very soon out of your check. Bam! And by the way, another part of that study that you sent that I saw on TV today, most kids don't even know how to read a paycheck today. That's sick. We're going to teach everybody how to be responsible to their own selves and family. And then they can help others. Not to be able to read your own paycheck. Ignorance is not a reason to be broke. Ignorance doesn't mean you're dumb or stupid. Ignorance means you haven't been informed. However, after you're informed, like tonight, and you don't make a change, what's it make you then? Stupid. And remember, you said it. Ignorance can be stupidity after you're educated. Am I right or right? Will anybody argue that? Anybody? Okay, good. I can put them down now. All right, good. Okay, you only got one more thing to do. That's, first of all, if you're interested in what we're doing, and I told you that you ought to be, you got to fill out what we call a CNA or simple needs analysis with the person who invited you here. I book an appointment immediately. If you have a loved one at home, don't go home and throw up on them. Am I right or right?
Right.
Okay, when you go home and throw up on them, what happens?
I didn't tell him anything.
Good.
I was like, we gotta just come in, and then we set up for him.
That saved you, right?
Exactly.
Because when she started talking about it, he was doubtful?
A little bit.
Because you were feeding him little things, weren't you?
I showed him a few things about it from my Dropbox, but he wasn't having it. He thought it was just so full of it.
Full of it, too good to be true, no way, scammers. He's making all those impressions without even meeting us. Then 2 of the blokes went over there. And, well,
Yeah.
you know, she said he wouldn't shut up. I had to tell him to be quiet. I have to go to sleep. That's funny. That's a great story. See, go home with himself. That's what I would do. Okay, and we want to meet with them to talk with them for you because we can do it better than you initially. We want to help you. Does that make sense? So fill out a simple needs analysis. Get your own circumstances looked at. That's very important. We'll give you a track if you're interested in the business, what to do, how to do it, which is very key. And And then we have a conference call on Thursday night about the debt. Next week it's going to be on the lending. So I have 2 meetings right on the phone, back to back, going to be webinars. It's all education. You're going to see how we do it and how simple it is. Boom, boom, boom. And those are all income streams to you. What's better than one income stream? Multiple. And I love that. See, because life changes. When one industry's going down, the other ones are going strong. Thank you. See, you don't turn off the spigots, not in a business like this. We're in the money business. Everybody clear about that? And we're consumer advocates. We do what's in people's best interest, not some of the time, all the time. I dare you to show me something better. Flat out dare you. Put it in front of me, show it, prove it. We'll do it. Until then, you better listen to what we're telling you. How about that? Now you got to do one more thing. So Garrett, sorry, we'll have to reverse that. TV land, I'm done. Next week you're going to hear Garrett Coe. He's going to give the whole operation on the company. I blew that, so I apologize. We'll get back on track for next Tuesday. But now your final thing is to give me a nice round of applause. I'm done. Making a point with the person who brought you here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good night, TV land. You took a lot of notes. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate your time. Oh, great questions. Where'd you go to school? Thanks. Right age. Realize and this is Stephen and Ryan, carries through. So so, I mean, not all. So Trey's gone. It's on the list. He's allowed. He's on the Wisconsin. He's still very hot. So, ask any question. Come back again. It's just like no, Thursday night is a
Hey everybody, gather around. I'm here to give you anything you like. You want college, energy, mortgages, whatever you like. You have come to the right place. Why? I'll tell you why. Take your money with a twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government can. Who can tax the sunrise? Who can tax the trees? Let you run a business and collect up all the fees. The government. Oh, the government can. And the government can. Because it mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make to make our own solutions. Healthcare, climate change, pollution. Throw away the Constitution. And who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. Make the founding fathers roll over in the grave. The government. Oh, the government can. And the government can. Goes and mix it up without to make it all taste good. The government takes everything we make and we're revolutions. Their economics are fictitious. So we'll have to eat our dishes. Oh, you could be a failure in so many ways. Instead of getting fire, hey, we'll give ourselves a raise. The government. Oh, the government can. The government can. When I make it all taste good. And your uncle Sam, you can't cause it mixes it. Well, I make it all taste good. And it feels so good. And the government says I should.
That's too close to that.
Yeah, now now. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Well, you couldn't have different. You had I was fresh out of work. No, I heard you. You were just doing that. So that's good. And you come to place in only 1 year. That's all you want to replace. So you fill us out. You got to learn to be suggestive.
Oh, see, I thought she doesn't want to do that. She
That's
can
okay.
just simple as like with the high
Yeah. This is. Hey Ryan, you know, you're gonna replace your income. They usually say you should have 10 times your, because right now, if you pay for 5,000, you should have minimum 50,000.
Yeah,
Because it's 10%, you still make $5,000. But it's a benchmark. And it's a figure, so you just gotta guess how many years you replace this now, watch, through the results. So here is very
right, yeah.
Right? Yeah, you have to get a benchmark. So that's right. We just went for what you thought you made. But now we know that it's talking to you. Now we just all this is right here, he's paying $8,600, which is right. Okay, that's right, whatever it's costing. So we know that, you know, again, this is for life insurance here, but it's also for retirement. So right now, you know, you got annual education, primary expense every year. You're gonna go in a box and then one day. So I always put 15,000 in there. And then you total the subsidy. And we come down here, how much easier it is to pay right now.
All of this is
Now,
going
we
on.
have any guess what? We're gonna be able to 1,000. Because why? I can tell already, you got 1,200. He's gonna, it's anywhere, we just increased that by
So we got a lot of
$50
things to look at with you.
because he said he can afford it out of his own pocket. And we're gonna reduce that. Because that makes no sense to get that money out.
That's how you're.
I'm saying that, he was sitting here, I asked him, how much you're down there?
Right, yeah.
He's gonna say what? I say,
So we already, what you want to do is bring back your, you should be scared over people.
we gave them the money all year round, and they gave it back to the home side, yeah. Which was leaving money, that's what we were saying. You have to pay interest, so why are you giving them your money free?
Yeah.
And even on the website,
We could always get
our
Put it in my schedule. I'll get
They
running
tell you
up to.
And then you know what, I'll probably do,
to figure out how much you can increase your stuff.
I hear a lot, so it's like.
I started doing it, and then I was gonna get back with it.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're looking at that.
All I gotta do is here's like,
That's-
just Are you willing to go for it?
All right, right now you have zero.
That'd be it.
Yeah, your form currently is zero. That's why you're paying more tax. So if you put 3, you're going to get an increase on your pay. Oh, that extra money over where? I think that's right. You see it? So that's what we're going to do. You've got no retirement account whatsoever. See, straight up, we're going to do benefits.
Oh, no.
They didn't exist for a while. So
again, I went out to get out. Let's see. Like that.
Never seen it.
Oh my God.
So you follow how we do that?
Oh,
Yes, so basically, right. Just thinking what would happen.
This is going to tell us the needs for those.
oh.
Now, I don't know if we're going to ever get it. It depends on what you can afford to spend. Okay, so we're going to deal with what we can afford. That's why we have this here, funding sources. And that's why we have it here to get a good idea. Truth is, he's single and doesn't have any major liability. He's got these debts. That's not that much. So we're going to be able to still do a good transform. So you're not really have stones. And for a guy like him, see, I'm really proud of how you young guys spend really well to the
I saw there was like
one product. Because if you was a married guy with kids and was on shirt, I only get a return, and you can convert that to so I wonder in that case, because there's a lot of insurance. Or I get like an Alex Tovar station, a lot of because IUL is going to give him some insurance, but it's not enough to cover it. He's having to get it. You got so covered. So IUL the term, that term is cheap. But then the term goes to the term. They go through X amount of years, and it's over. It's just throwing money.
Yeah,
Benefits. In the meantime, you saw it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's a lot to take in.
Listen,
It's crazy that all the
so look at the size of it. It's fine. I don't care if it takes you 5 years. Truth is, in 1 month's time,
All I do is
decide to
my
crack
dad was like,
him. In a month's period of time, have you learned a lot in 3 business for a living? Are you starting to get the language?
a little bit.
See, it's coming, right? Did it work for you?
Oh, yeah. You gotta talk to all the people and so you'll learn slowly. You gotta learn those questions you wanna ask everybody. No one really wants to hear you talk about it. So
Yeah, you don't wanna
you ask
tell.
the questions,
Yeah.
they lead you to end up where you can tell them the things that you ask them the question and then they need to know what you're gonna tell them.
So let's make it real simple. Here's your job. You're gonna talk to people without say it anyway. They were totally non-cultural, totally without themselves, and they still stay. That's what makes them studs. We're here to help you, but we can't help you if you're going to throw up on yourself. And you're not, traditionally, you're not, you all say you're coaching and you're lying. Okay?
That's why I didn't say anything, I let them do it.
Amen. That's coaching. Okay, now watch. As keep it this simple. If I knew you for a while, I'd come up to you and I'd flat look at you and say, listen, Nick, I need your help. You help me out. I've seen him in the last 6 months. Right, and exactly that. See, if he came and tried to say everything, you wouldn't be here. Then he wants to be smart. No, I need your help. You help me out. And then I shut up. And what you do, you say, yeah. And what do you need? Your opinion. You always give it to me whether I like it or not. I have it in respect. I don't always agree with it. I'm looking at a career move. I want you to check it out and find a way to do that. And that's what they're going to come here to do. And then let the system do it. You can't let the system. It's not the basics at all. If you want to learn the art of see why? Just we do. We make a lot of statements. See, if I say, you can have it.
Yeah.
If you say, okay,
Yeah, I'd rather have you say it. What's that? You're doing it now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd rather meet you. Then you'll fight. You ain't gonna fight out. You'll fight me. It's like follow how it works. Now, that's teamwork. You can learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no person to have. I have one.
On the watch.
It's fun. Yeah, I'll see that. It's fun to play with that. Like that. And Harvard people. I don't care where they come from. You heard me say that.
Yeah. So,
Tell me something.
I had like this picture.
They can't. And you hear the season it's all about the math. Math doesn't lie. It's all about the story and why and how. So we're telling them, here's why. Boom. I'd be back in that. If I were here, I'd be back in the. Why? This way down the strip. I want to.
He just like he just said.
You realize. And I know
He was like,
I would never
get the work.
I like being.
like I call him
That's the way you want to do it.
That's
When I saw the guy.
How you he was like,
he has a family. I'm like, so
Meaning,
you
I
know
want to
how it's like, you know, I'm like,
That's what we right. You got
That's
that.
like me.
That simple? Yeah. That's out of what? I used to do this on napkins and diners. I call it napkin presentation. Yeah, think about that. And I don't read cards, I take them for at least.
That's what I next step.
I'll get a little bit back in my bag.
I'll show me all the cards. Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what you do? You throw them out, oh, yeah. It's not credible, so I'll call them. I'll email them, like, everybody lives. See,
Scribbling.
when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I know. So that's the back is tight. I'll go and train. Just say, do I try? I'm straight down. And then maybe that might be the three of us. He can do it.
That's why.
He can't go anything.
Losing my ex, yeah, that's kind of weird.
But I bet you know he might ask me to go to the work. And then if we sit down.
Having fun, so creating a leader, creating a leader, so, I wish I had 12. 12 executives. You start out, creating wealth.
Yeah.
When you create wealth for other people, guess what you want?
Yeah.
That's what they're there. Anyway, I'm not smart enough to do it. I think I couldn't do it. Now, people believe that? She believes that. That's why she's still.
So I got church coming.
I'm proud of you.
thank you.
It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Now,
Yeah, right.
there's an extra 3 to 5 people right away.
Yeah, so, I mean.
I have one that actually watched tonight, and then I have 2
I
more.
screwed up tonight. I'm really apologetic. He called, told me out of sync. It was bad. I had the guy from Texas on. I don't know how to check how we did mine.
She lives in Tampa.
Okay.
She's gonna be here for one Tuesday meeting, and then, she's my cousin. We're meeting us together, and she's driving back up with me, and then we're gonna schedule a night. I'll possibly ride to my house and talk to them about it, because she's not gonna be able to make it every Tuesday again.
She always got the camera, she always got the phone, and with all the technology, we do Skype meetings, like I do meetings tomorrow, I'll be in New Jersey tomorrow.
Well, I might need you this week for one of those Skype meetings.
Okay.
Green pepper. I don't know how well it goes over with your father. Some punk kid like that.
Yeah. Well, he's Cuban, he's very hard-headed, like.
You're Cuban? Oh,
Bilingual.
that's great. Yeah. They're up in New York, Provoking
Very
Trey.
Yeah,
feisty.
talk to Trey and be in touch.
What's
Did
that?
you sign
We're
up?
very
Sign
feisty, very
up?
dominating.
Oh, very good. He's wearing that.
Yeah.
With the shit, man.
You did do
I
that?
did mine, very good.
I didn't know you don't look too.
Well, that's, I like to look like a white person, so when
Oh,
people start
simple
talking in
needs.
language and I respond real
You
quick,
might go
they're like,
to.
Right, right. Yeah, I would never pick you for keeping that.
and my hair is naturally blonde too, so.
You can take this
Wow.
one. I have an electronic one too.
Okay. So cool. You
So
get it?
that may or may
You're a
not be
treat,
easy
right?
for you. But this is for you since you're young and you don't have like a million things. Like some
No,
people
you're great.
have
You're great.
have like 401ks, IRAs, all kinds of crap. So there's a much longer form for that
Keep
stuff
pressing
like
yourself. Now,
debts and all that.
if you're ready,
But
you're ready to
how
jump and
how
see,
old
guess
is
what?
it?
You can't do
Okay.
this by putting your.
Yeah, that's right. We did the whole thing before.
Anything. Here's what I do. I come-
So yeah, this should be fine. And don't worry about too much.
Okay, because the only reason.
Final expenses,
Tell me that.
whatever.
Why
You
do
don't need
people
to
always
think
put
about that
their
stuff. We're young. Life insurance for us is
Just to see how it is.
tax-free retirement.
Right. You hear what
So
you
it
said?
happens.
Say it again.
That allows us. So,
You see what you just lined up? You hear his line?
You have.
Show up at 60. You know what the key word is? I want to smack him for it. He said overcommit.
No.
How about just commit?
The tax refund.
How do you overcommit?
Sometimes we.
Hi, I love you.
Tax
I'm
refund.
you know, maybe. How do you? You don't commit to things that
So,
aren't
you know,
right.
you can look that over and have
My new
questions
mantra
straight.
here, I started saying tonight, you tell the truth. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
See, the truth hurts, good.
All right,
Fix it. In fact, I'm gonna tell everybody that you find in this room, you walk out of here, don't do it. Okay, you deserve it. We're insulting.
I was thinking, you too.
Hey, Kevin, thumbs up for me. How about for you? Double one. All right, Kevin, you right answer. Okay.
Take care.
Does that make sense? So it's not about, how about just committing?
He's mine.
You want to be somebody.
You went to.
When's the last time somebody put $100,000 in your opportunity in front of you to teach you how to go and say, come watch us, we'll build a list for you? When's the last time that's happened? Thank you. Okay, so don't worry, put your tone.